An unusual birth shows us how great a mother's love is. Leanne couldn't wait to meet her new baby. She imagined everything she would do with her precious son, Louis. She had been preparing for this moment for almost 9 months and was filled with excitement with each day of waiting. However, when the time came for the delivery, things didn't turn out as perfectly as Leanne had always dreamed. It was December of 2016, and 38-year-old Leanne Crawley was living in Kent, England. She was about to give birth, and it was at that point she realized her plans wouldn't go as she had hoped. Her son, Louis, came into the world with life-threatening problems. Then, the mother's desire to hold the newborn in her arms had to wait. The baby's appearance was gray and lifeless, and doctors had to act immediately to save the little one's life. Louis was taken to the prenatal unit where doctors tried to discover the reason for his condition. After several tests, they discovered that the baby had lost a large amount of blood while in the womb. The baby had to be admitted to the hospital. He would survive, but required monitoring and medical care for a few weeks. Leanne was worried about her son's health. The moment she had long awaited was overshadowed by misfortune. It didn't take long for the little boy to be placed in an incubator as a result of the strange trauma. No one knew for sure what had really happened to the baby inside the mother's womb. It was clear that he was bleeding to death, but they could not explain exactly why. Louis was placed in an induced coma with the intention of maintaining the amount of blood in his body and revitalizing him through transfusions. He was fighting for his life while Leanne tried to keep her sanity. The blessed baby had the help of specialized doctors, and his recovery was soon a fact. The mother couldn't have been happier when she was finally able to hold her baby boy in her arms to take him home. However, that moment of happiness lasted only a couple of days. Leanne experienced a worrying loss of blood just 2 days after arriving home. She was immediately rushed to the hospital, where she had spent much of her time lately. Distress again gripped Leanne, who did not understand what was happening. Doctors intervened on the fatigued mother and thought they found the explanation for her sudden bleeding. The doctors operated on me to remove what they thought was part of Louis' placenta, Leanne told The Sun sometime later. However, they would soon find out how wrong they were. 2 weeks after the operation, Leanne's bleeding did not stop, and she had to be admitted for a second operation. It was on this occasion that they found the real cause of the bleeding, and the reason seemed like something out of a horror movie. It turns out that Leanne had suffered a molar pregnancy, which occurs when abnormal cells are introduced into the uterus in a gross manner, resulting in the formation of a non-viable embryo. This embryo had its sights set on Louis and was desperately seeking to become its twin by taking over its sibling's vitality. It had grown to the size of a 12-week-old fetus and consumed Louis day after day. Strangely, doctors had never noticed the twins' presence during routine ultrasounds. They never knew there were 2 babies in there. All they could see on the ultrasound was Louis, but it turned out that the other fetus had been hiding the whole time, the mother said. The removal of the twin from Leanne's womb was a success, and doctors probed her with questions about whether she planned to have a funeral for the newly discovered twin. "It was a lot to take in," she said. "I was only a few hours into learning that I was actually the mother of twins." Although the fetus was removed from inside Leanne, the truth was the problems were not yet over. Approximately 50% of women who go through a molar pregnancy develop choriocarcinoma, a type of uterine cancer that arises from abnormal cells, and unfortunately, Louis' mother did not escape this harmful disease. The worst part of it was that the cancer had already spread to the woman's lungs. Action had to be taken promptly and accordingly, so Leanne underwent 15 hours of chemotherapy weekly and approximately 20 blood transfusions. Leanne lost her hair, which she saw as a constant reminder of her condition. She received her treatment and struggled every day with fatigue and depression. She came close to death on several occasions. The worst of all when a clot traveled to her lungs in the middle of one of her chemo sessions. Fortunately, and after so much suffering, Leanne was finally cancer-free in September of 2017. Today, she continues to suffer from the long-term side effects of her molar pregnancy. She has mild brain damage that results in severe deafness and paralysis of her left leg. The whole experience nearly destroyed us all, but I had a lot of support from my friends and family, Leanne told the Daily Mail. Hoping to put it all behind her and treat herself to a well-deserved trip of rest, Leanne set up a GoFundMe page with which to raise the funds for her vacation. A mother would do anything for her children, and Leanne Crawley is proof of that. Even after so much pain, I would do it all over again if I had to choose between Louie and me, were Leanne's emotional words, showing the deep love she felt for her baby.